Happy to be here, honored to be here. My name is Medha Karwande, and I've been called by a lot of names, but Durga as it's a first. Okay, so this is not something that I have heard, when I have been introduced by people. So, what is it that I do? I am a corporate trainer. I am a management consultant. I am a facilitator. I am a coach. I am a visiting faculty in B schools, SP Jain being one of them. What is it that I do? If somebody were to ask me, okay, what do you do basically? I mean, all these titles are fine, like in karte kya ho? I just have a one-line answer, and that is, I help people and organizations to become more productive. How? With respect to two things. It could be with respect to process. So, small companies would probably, who don't have an HR system in place, might come to me and say that we want an HR system in place where we have KRAs of people, key result areas, job descriptions, So, I would probably help them with getting an HR system in place. The second thing how I can help organizations to become more productive is by working with the people. And to a large extent, correct me if I'm wrong, it's after all people who make an organization. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes.
Right? So I might have a great product in place, but if my people don't believe that it's a great product, they cannot sell it in the market. Would you agree? Right? So, believing in what we do, whether it is sales or finance or whether it is HR or whether it is operations, I need to believe that what I'm doing is right. The second thing, people, if they believe, yes, they would go and do it. And so therefore, a lot of my concentration or a lot of work that I do happens to be in the people space. I do a lot of workshops on managerial excellence, personal effectiveness, presentation skills, coaching skills, and so on and so forth. So, as Vinay said that we are neighbors, and when he came to me and said that I would like you to speak at this session, so I was wondering what exactly do I talk about? And he said, your journey from the way you started out and till whatever you achieved today. So, here goes, right? We've heard about, we are here for igniting minds. We've heard about, ab to chal padi apni hi naav hai. So everybody wants their now to kind of chal padi. So for some people it happens very quickly. For some people it might take a little bit of time. So here goes my journey for the next 15 odd minutes, not too long. So I began my career way back in 1987. I was in Delhi, and that's where I graduated from in English literature. Did I know what I wanted to do after that? Not really. What I did know was what I didn't want to do. So tell me how many people identify with this. क्या करना है ये नहीं मालूम, क्या नहीं करना है, there is a clarity. Right? Yes, okay? So a lot of people, alright, good. So, didn't want to become a doctor, didn't want to be an engineer, right? Didn't want to be a CA. Okay? Now, even today, if not this, then what? That is a question. So, you can understand in 1987, this was definitely a big problem for my parents. That if you don't want to do this, then what do you want to do? Right? Still wondering after graduation, kya kare? Dad had gone to the US. He came back and said that computers is the next big thing in this country. So why don't you do computers? Okay, right? We're still in an era where we listen to parents, right? So went and joined NIIT for a 1-year computer programming course. While I was there, NIIT got a huge offer from Army Headquarters Delhi to help them to computerize their entire administrative block. And helping them to computerize means helping them with buying assembled PCs. That time, branded PCs were not available. They were too, so And Delhi being Delhi, everything is assembled. Okay? So PCs were also assembled, helping them to buy assembled PCs, then installation and then training. So the center manager at NIT came to me and said that we would like you to be the trainer because we need to train these people. I said, I'm still learning. I mean, it was just 4 months into the program. What am I going to teach others if I don't know? So they said, no, it's okay. We'll help you today in the evening with whatever session is there next day. There is a main trainer. You just have to be like an assistant. I said yes. And that's how a journey began. Right? After I finished the course, NIT absorbed me. I worked with them for some time. Moved to Mumbai. My dad got transferred back to Mumbai from Delhi. Continued working in the computer industry. Got married. And still continued working. But then when I was expecting my first child, had a difficult pregnancy. Complications, things like that. Could not really continue with the job. And had to give it up. Then decided, okay, let's wait for some time, let the kid grow up, Then came again a movement from Mumbai. So my husband took up a new assignment and then that's why we had to move. The second kid followed. So kind of, the corporate career took a backseat for some time. Yes, being a kind of a person who cannot sit idle at home and I get bored very easily, kept dabbling in something or the other, whether it is tuitions or whether it is taking a session in a college or whether it is working with ORG Mark. But true calling, what is it that I really wanted? Still a question mark. Still, what is a passion? Didn't really know. But then, as they say, life is full of surprises. And you never know what is being thrown at you. And what you are today may not really be what you set out to be. Would you agree with me on that? Yeah? So, it can just be anything. We were in Hyderabad. My son was in nursery and I had gone to drop him to school. And the principal there, she saw me a couple of times. We would wish each other. I would talk to her. And one day she came and said that there is a vacancy to teach lower KG. That is nursery 2. I don't know what it is called today, but in my kids' time, it was called lower KG. And I said, I'm not a teacher. I mean, how can I be a teacher? And that too, pre-primary? She said, it's okay, you can do it. I know you can do it. Again, said a yes. And I found that, I did have a flair for teaching. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. Enjoyed working with the children. Enjoyed interacting with them. In terms of being happy and satisfied, happy, yes. Satisfied, no. Still felt that there is something else that is waiting for me out there. And I wasn't really happy being a teacher all the time. How many of you have seen this movie Om Shanti? What was that? Deepika Padukone and Shah Rukh Khan? Om Shanti Om? Okay. So he talks about that, अगर किसी चीज को दिल से चाहो, तो then पूरी कायनात, everybody remembers that dialogue? Yeah. The Alchemist dialogue, right? Paulo Coelho has said the same thing. That if you really, really desire and aspire for something, then the whole universe will arrange itself to help you to achieve it. So probably the messages being sent out to the universe by me was, this is not it. I want something more. I want something more. What? Didn't know, right? We got transferred to Mumbai and my brother is a corporate trainer as well. And he said, join me. He had been telling me that for a long time, but I had issues at my end to shed and handle, mainly being self-confidence. And of course, leaving a job which was paying me quite well, right? One thing that you have to get used to when you start off on your own, and I'm sure Vinay will agree with me, is uncertainty. Would you agree? Right? So 1 month can be exceptional, the next month can be, you don't know, right? So my brother said, join me, and I again said a yes, right? One thing I was very clear, अब दूसरों के लिए काम करना बस हो गया, अब खुद के लिए काम करते हैं, So went back to being a student. Vishal said, be a learner, and went back to attending seminars, reading books on management, understanding HR, because I got introduced into this fascinating world of behavioral science, you know. So I worked with the HR fraternity, and what was behavioral science, what was psychology, didn't really know, but went back to learning. And for 1 year, at the age of 12 years back, I just studied. I just went, I read whatever I could grasp. And 10 years back, got my first assignment with Glenmark Pharmaceuticals. I did presentation skills for them. Just did it and then went back to, again my brother said, now what? I said, dekhte hain. And 3 days later, there was a call from Glenmark Pharmaceuticals that, we want you to do 3 more programs for us. The rest, as they say, is history. Okay? I began as an independent consultant, and today I run my own consultancy by the name of Benchmark Consulting. Okay? So, I would just like to share a lot of young people out here. Probably my story resonates with them in terms of, I don't really know what I want to do. I know I'm designed for better things, but cannot really put my finger onto what. You know? I'm sure there are people over here who have dreams. Who doesn't? Right? I'm sure people over here who want more from life. Right? So, let me just share a few things, a few pointers which have worked with me, which has helped me to reach wherever I am today and whatever I am doing. Okay? So, 7 things, if I say 7 steps of success. When I was thinking about these 7 steps, my son came and asked me, Mama, why 7? Why is it that all the time you guys talk about 7? 7 C's of communication, now 7 steps of leadership and success, so why 7? And I told him I don't really have an answer, because why 7 days of the week? Why 7 colors of the rainbow? Why 7 feras? You know? Why Saptapadi? Right? So 7 steps that you take with your spouse to be in the marriage. So we don't know what really is about this magical figure of 7. But these are my 7 pointers which have worked for me. And I see no reason why it should not work for anyone. Not rocket science, pretty simple. So here goes. To all the dreamers in this room, to all those who are not happy with being mediocre and who want to achieve excellence, right? I say excellence because Three Idiots remains my favorite movie, right? And what he says over there, excellence के पीछे भागो, कामयाबी खुद में खुद अपने आप पीछे आएगी, right? So the first mantra for success, self-belief. Okay? If I don't believe in myself, how will the world believe in me? Belief in self and faith in God, 2 of the most positive, constructive forces known to man. Right? The only thing that limits us from achieving greatness is our own imagination. We are born to win, but probably conditioned to lose. Right? How does this conditioning happen? Maybe society, maybe the environment, maybe certain things that people tell us, ye sahi hai, ye galat nahi hai. And we allow ourselves. Let me not say that people condition us. Let me take responsibility and say we allow ourselves to be conditioned. There's a big difference between these 2 statements. What is the difference? First statement is people condition us. Second statement is I allow myself to be conditioned. What is the difference? Anybody? Okay, I'll tell you. First, yes?
You chose to be conditioned.
Absolutely.
You chose to accept that whatever comes.
Absolutely. Can we have a round of applause for her? Okay. The first one is a statement of blame. Somebody is conditioning me. The second one says, it's a statement of responsibility. I allowed myself to be conditioned, which means probably I was not confident enough. So the second statement is a problem with me. The first statement is a problem with the world. And problems with the world never really, I cannot do anything about it. What I can only handle is a problem with me, right? So self-belief, my imagination, where do I really want to see myself? Very important. Our thoughts determine our actions. Our thoughts determine our destiny. We become what we think we can become. We do what we think we can do. Right? So, thinking and believing that I can do it is the foundation on which greatness and excellence lies. Moving on from self-belief, just believing and not really doing anything about it is not enough. So the next thing which is very important is whether it's investing, whether it is life, whether it is a job, everything. Okay, the belief is there, now what? The next is some action. And for us to do an action, there has to be a clarity of purpose. So why do I want something different? Why do I want to be whatever I am wanting to be? What is my purpose in life? As Mahatma Gandhi said, have purpose, the means will follow. Right? Even in investing, I think the same thing. What is the purpose? And then how to do it follows once the purpose is in place. Right? So, it defines your life, and for this we need to set goals and then make an action plan to work towards it. The third and the most important thing, take risks, but smart risks, okay? And as they say, no risk, no gain. And challenging ourselves to do new things, this helps us to expand our comfort zone. There is an Emirates airline ad which says, when was the last time you did something for the first time? A very powerful question, right? So how many new things do I do? How many risks do I take? How comfortable am I with doing something that I have never done before? So if I were to look at myself, you can see my journey. Computers, then came teaching, right? Then came teaching again, but a different form, training, right? Which is again not related at all. The teaching thing is common probably, but the subjects are varied, right? So taking risks, very important. The fourth one, this has been talked about a number of times, and in the session before, Vishal also talked about it. Be a continuous learner. So how many new things do you learn, right? How much of your knowledge and skills upgradation do you do? It could be in the form, how much of investment do you do in self? It could be reading a book, it could be attending a seminar, it could be attending a training session, it could be just about anything. Am I a learner? Do I enjoy learning new things? It could be a hobby, pursuing a new hobby. It could be learning how to bake. It just could be anything. And like they say, the more I know, the less I fear. What knowledge helps us to is that it reduces our fear. Okay? The fifth thing, most important, there are no mistakes. There are only lessons. Right? It's very easy to beat yourself up over the mistakes you have made. Too many people among us live in the past, stuck for years over something they did or a failure they experienced. One word of advice or one advice from me, get over it. Because the mistakes are important. As they say, happiness comes from good judgment. Good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. So the mistakes and the bad judgment are important, right? Everything that has happened to us in our lives, the good and the difficult, was necessary to help us to become what we are today. I've had my fair share of failures, right? If I start talking about it, I would be writing a book. Okay? So, what is seen is always the success story. What is not seen is the is the hardship that happened in the background, but they are important, right? And let me challenge that thought that because a lot of people say I don't want to fail. I would counter that by asking a question, tell me one success story which has come without failure. And I don't think there is any, right? So then why are we so afraid, right? Okay, yes, I can. A lot of people tell me because you are a woman it was easy for you because one wheel was permanent over there, which was, you didn't have to run a house. I agree, right? Does that really mean that I can hide behind this excuse? I don't know. You would be the best person to answer this, right? The sixth point, develop a coping mechanism. My husband and I have been married for 27 years almost. We have 2 children, okay? And every day I have to make a decision, whether to be a mother, whether to be a wife, whether to be a daughter, or a daughter-in-law, or a professional, a trainer. And all the time we are making these decisions. In fact, every moment we are making these decisions. And to be able to take these decisions better, you need people around you, right? Those people could be, so we've taken the help of our family. We've taken the help of our friends. We've taken the help of neighbors. We've taken the help of house helps, my mates. My brother-in-law always teases me and says, I have 2 maids who work with me and he says right hand, left hand, kaisa hai? Because it's true, I travel a lot for my work and they are the ones who, run my house for me. Okay, and so very important that we take the support system. My friend Meera is here in the audience and I remember one incident when I was traveling. I was in Nasik and my husband was in Pune and he was going to come down in the evening, but then he didn't finish his work and he couldn't come down. Children were young, they were all alone and I didn't know what to do, and all I did was I gave her a call and she was there taking care of my kids, right? So we need that support system. We need them to help us to, manage these things better. Okay. I remember a time again when my children, because I have not been there for parent-teacher meetings at times. I have not been there when they have won competitions. And my daughter has come back to me and told me that all other mothers were there. You were not there. And I have felt like the worst mother in the world. And I have died of guilt at times. But then my husband has taken over and he has said that, but I'll be there, I'm there. So what your mother does is very different from what other women do. And aren't you proud of your mother for doing whatever she does? So after that I developed a coping mechanism. I would ask my husband that, okay, this is when I'm traveling, so are you traveling at that time? I would make entries in the calendar not only about exams but also about their competitions. Okay? If my husband was also traveling, I would let my parents know that please come down, okay, and be there. But we need this support. Okay? Otherwise, especially for the women, because we do take on more of the housework than what the men do. Right? Things are changing today. Right? My husband is one example. But still, if the woman has got too many other things to look into, slowly she might have to give up on her dreams and not be able to achieve them. Okay? And now last but not the least, be fit. Okay? Invest in your health. Because if my health is not okay, I cannot do a lot of things that I have been wanting to. As a corporate trainer, I stand for 9 hours and talk. And even in the breaks, because I am, people call me a motivational speaker also, people will come and talk about their personal issues with me in the breaks as well. So I cannot, switch off for a moment also. Now it would not be possible for me to handle all this if I was not going for my aerobics and my Zumba in the morning every day, right? So take a walk, go cycling, do some form of aerobics, do yoga, whatever it is, but be fit. Because our parents told us health is wealth, and that's a real fact, right? So to conclude, a few more 2 things that I would leave you with. 2 mantras which I still believe in apart from these 7. Number 1, you can't win the game that you don't even play. Would you agree? खेलेंगे ही नहीं तो जीतेंगे कैसे? So if there is something bothering you, give it a shot. You know, what is the worst that will happen? But one belief you must go in with कि जहाँ हूँ उससे तो नीचे नहीं जाऊँगी, right? So what might happen is either upwards or I will remain where I am, still better. Okay? So I can't win the game that I don't even play. And the second and the most important thing, and this is what I leave you with, if you continue to do what you've always done, you continue to get what you have always got. So if you want to get something different, you must do something different. Not rocket science, but then we still somehow don't understand. Einstein defined insanity as doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. It's not going to happen, right? So wishing you all the very best. Thank you for your time and thank you for patiently listening to me. I might have exceeded because problem is when you get this in my hand, I lose sense of time, right? So that's an occupational hazard. Thank you very much and all the best.
Wow, that's very lovely, very inspiring, and we got a very simple 7 mantra for successful in life. So, किसको बुलाएं मेधा जी को फैसिलिटेट करने के लिए? मेरे दिमाग में, मेरे दिल में एक ही नाम आता है, मीरा जी का. Can I request Medha ji to facilitate?
I think Deepak will be the best person.
No.
Please,
Deepak
no.
is there at home always.
No.
Yeah. Please look here, please. Both of you. 1 second. Yes? One more. Thank you.
She is my best friend. I'm so proud of her that I can't imagine what she dreamed. No, I always used to see her छोटे बच्चों को. She used to feel so sad when leaving them and Mira, please look after her. And now everybody is so proud of her. She's the really gem of the person, ideal person.